Hey everybody, we are recording. It is October 1st. This is Shelley and I have Carol leading us this evening. It's our week 6 of our fall 2018 6 Weeks to Success. And if you're watching this recording, thank you for dialing in. Carol, what were you just commenting about Renee?
Well, those of you that have been in the program all along know that Renee Corey has been a part of this program. And unfortunately, she suddenly passed away last Wednesday or Thursday. And so I just thought we should just have a quick little moment of silence in her honor since she's no longer able to join in with us. To you, Renee, we love you and we miss you.
To you, Renee, lifting a glass. Gosh, I got to tell you, just since Wednesday night, it has just little tiny things have hit me. Oh, yeah. And she would be a graduate of this program, which to each of you who are here and have made it 6 weeks, not everybody does. And Renee was on target. You're all on target. So I'm really proud of everybody for being here. Terrible way to, yeah, sad news to lose our good friend. But I'm going to turn this over to Carol, is leading us this evening. Our topic, what is your topic tonight, Carol?
Organization, calendar management, time management.
Fantastic. And you couldn't be talking to a better person. So I hope you guys have your pencils and paper and stuff ready that you use to take notes. I am just going to point out, Melissa used it already, but the chat function on the sidebar of the Zoom screen is super helpful. Super helpful as Carol's going on. If you have questions or if you have comments to toss in or just thoughts along those topics, use that chat and I will copy and paste that and put it into our 6 Weeks for Success Facebook page when we're done. I'm going to share my screen. Carol, anything else while we're getting started?
I don't think so.
Okay, very good. I'm going to hand it over to Carol. Go for it, my friend.
Okay, so as we said, this is our last week. And as Shelley said, congrats to those of you that made it through. So hopefully you all got some value out of it, and we'll recommend it to other teams to take it the next time that we offer it. And at the end, I'm guessing we'll probably discuss what the next program is after this, if anyone wants to participate in that, because I think we picked dates for it already.
We did. I'll throw that out. We're going to do a director-bound program starting in 2 weeks from tonight, October 15th.
Yes. All right. So the next slide 2. We're going to kind of talk about the different things that you've learned about through this program. And you've learned you've got to increase your product knowledge in order to maximize your sales and your bookings. And one of the best ways to increase your product knowledge, I think, is to get the products out and play with them and use them in your own kitchen. And then watch videos. There's YouTube videos out there on any of the products. And I think that the use and care is always a very good thing to look at, because product knowledge, you'll get asked questions about, can this go in the microwave? Can this go in the dishwasher? What's the warranty? All that kind of stuff. And I can't possibly memorize all that on every product. So I have the app on my phone, and I use the search for browse for products the app, and I'm able to look at use and care at a moment's notice when I'm out and about or at a party. So that's something I think that's very handy to use for product knowledge.
I do that too.
Next one is belief. You've learned now that your belief decides what you believe you can and cannot do, and that your brain can be retrained. Can't emphasize how important belief is as far as believing in yourself, believing what you can do, believing in the product, and not to get discouraged. You know, if maybe September didn't turn out as good as you wanted it to be. I personally was hoping to get 4 recruits in September. I got 3, but as a team, we got 4. So I'm just going to focus on that and kind of move on to October and kind of with an onward and upward attitude. You've learned to talk to people when you're, and we're supposed to move now to the next slide. No, we're still on this one. To talk to people when you're out and about. How has everybody been doing this last week as far as out and about contact? Anybody want to share going outside their comfort zone and doing any out and about contact?
I did an event, 2 events, when I was out and about last weekend, and it was a little bit out of my comfort zone because it's been a long time since I've done vendor events, but powered through and made some good contacts.
Very good. Vendor events are great, and this time of year we just might as well give a, Melissa had a vendor event and wearing the apron to every store. Good job, Melissa.
Oh, great.
A little too nervous to do myself, but I'm working towards it. Vendor events are everywhere right now. So look in your newspaper, look around everywhere you go, or Facebook. There's vendor events. That's one of the best ways to make out and about kind of contacts.
On Facebook, for those of you looking, if you go into events, it will pop up events in your area. So it might not even be an event that you're aware of, but it goes by your location. So you can find events going on in your local area.
Wow.
And there's also a Facebook group that I'm in. I think it's called something like 18 Vendor Events, something like that. And it's a place where people post vendor events. You got to sort through them because they're just everywhere. But that's something else that I look at on Facebook for that kind of thing. You've learned that your passion shines through and can completely influence purchases and bookings at parties. People will kind of, play off of your passion or your excitement or something. I think that Darcy must be extremely excited about the Quick Cooker because she's booking parties and she had her best sales month ever, about $1,900 in September. And her comment to me every time when I ask, what are you doing? She's like, this Quick Cooker is hot. Mm-hmm. So find some product that really sparks your interest and people will feed off of that energy. You've learned that you have to host coach effectively to keep your sales high, your bookings at every party, and a constant pool of leads. So anybody want to share anything that they've done about host coaching, maybe since they started this program, that's something new and different that they didn't do with host coaching in the past? And how's it working out for you?
Well, this is Shelly. I was doing my first ever multiple virtual parties in September, 2 to 3 every week during the month. I sold over $5,500, which was way more than prior months. And I found that making that personal phone call and getting your virtual host physically on the phone to go through things with them makes all the difference. You can't just rely on the Facebook messaging. You need to kind of lay that out for them beforehand and impress upon them over the phone so they can hear your voice, how important their interaction is. And it makes a big difference.
I would like to brag on Melissa a little bit. No, she's not. She's just messaging, but hers is belief in host coaching and working on focusing bookings. Her show, she had a cooking show. I believe it was 3 people that attended the show. It was, she got 2 bookings from that show with just 3 people, which was higher than her previous totals. And
oh, did we lose you, Sean?
I think.
I can't hear you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
She just
well,
went.
we come back just on to see the
Patrice just joined us too. Hi, Patrice.
Hi. Rehearsal ended early.
Good. I'm glad.
Okay. Hello. Welcome. Shaughnessy,
no, we can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
What's up?
Shaughnessy posted in the chat, can you hear me? And so I replied back, no, we cannot.
No, we can't. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Oh.
I don't think you guys heard me.
It cut out. You were talking. Who were you referring to? Got more bookings than usual?
Melissa Yankowicz. She's one of my consultants on this call, in this program. She got 2 bookings with 3 people at her cooking show.
Oh my gosh.
And had I don't have my numbers in front of me, but I want to say it was like a $300 or $400 cooking show.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Good job. And she said, yeah, in the chat that she's been
491.
Okay, sorry. That's awesome.
That is great. Okay. Skills. You've learned that your skills will make a huge difference in every party. When you know your product, you can sell your product. When you know what to say, you can respond to objections, even guesses. Your host cooking skills, you have much bigger parties with much better results. Host coaching is where you earn your paycheck. Next party is where you pick up the paycheck.
I'm going to interrupt Carol. Someone's got little kids running around. Hit your mute button just so that we can hear Carol, if you don't mind. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So did everybody hear that part? Host coaching is where you earn your paycheck, and the party is where you pick up the paycheck. So if you do the work of the host coaching, you'll get the reward of the party when you have the higher sales, more bookings, etc. And all that's going to tie into how your host coaching, how many people she got there, how many pre-orders she got, all those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so on that, I think it's good to each, like say for the month of October, plan 1 or 2 recipes, that those are the ones you're going to focus on this month instead of recreating the wheel for each party. And that way there you'll get better and more practice by doing the same recipe over and over again, that you don't have to think so much about concentrating on the recipe, and you can really work on talking about the products and getting bookings and that thing, and not being all hung up over, is this a half a cup of chicken broth or 2/3 of a cup, whatever. Recruiting. We also learned that recruiting is just a conversation. Don't get all nervous about, oh, recruiting, I don't know how to do that, I wouldn't know what to say. It's really just a conversation and talking to the other person, sharing what you like about the business, asking what their needs are, what they're looking for, and hopefully being able to tell them how Pampered Chef can work into their life and maybe solve some of the things that there is missing in their life, whether that be more income, friendship, whatever it is.
Can I add to that, Carol?
Sure.
Just what Carol was saying, listening to your people and hearing what they say. I had a virtual show last week, or it was supposed to be last week, and she ended up, we were supposed to start it. I couldn't get a hold of her. Then finally she got back to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We just had to buy a new car last night. And so I can't afford to do a show, because she was wanting to buy a bunch of stuff. I said, okay, then no worries. Let's do October. She's like, okay, let's check. I'm not sure. We haven't had a car payment in years, and now we have a car payment. So I was listening to that thinking, okay, they need extra income. So the other day when I was going through people on my list to contact about the kit, the $29 kit, she was one person that came to my mind, and she took me up on it and is excited because this is going to be extra income to make that car payment.
Perfect. So listening is key, and then responding accordingly.
Thank you.
Okay, and what else we have? And you learn that you're still building your skills. I'd say Shelly, Shaughnessy, and I would tell you we're all still building our skills. And that's why we constantly go to conference, we do trainings, and I think I've learned more too just by staying in this program a couple times over again, because you pick up different tips, or your mind is focused on different things. If recruiting is really what you want to work on right now, you know, maybe you pick up some new things on that you didn't know about before. Or it reminds you, I used to do that on health coaching and I don't do it anymore. And it did work well for me when I actually did it. So you can always refer back to any of this stuff in this program in the future and brush up on things. And like I said, it's a lot of information to take in. So it's a good thing to look back at it later and pick up. I think Kate has mentioned she's done it for more than once, and she picked up different things the second time through that have eluded her the first time. You learned that the fortune is in the follow-up, especially when you do a vendor event. Fortune is in the follow-up. If you're going to spend hours at the vendor event, you want to do the follow-up, or else it was really a waste of your time standing there at the event. And that also means following up with your customers, customer care.
Carol,
does anybody know what the
am I supposed to be
222?
moving the slide?
Not yet.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Well, I'm on the last thing there, customer care on this little chart.
Got it.
222. Anybody heard that before?
2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months.
Yeah. So what do you do 2 days? 2 days after the party?
Virtual or live parties. Yeah, absolutely. Huge impact.
To
They-
follow up with the customers, those that placed an order or were thinking about something. If they were thinking about something and then they, came out and just bought the jar opener, but you knew they were commenting a whole bunch about the Rock, it's possible the Rock is still on their wish list, but their pocketbooks said all they could afford a jar opener. So that's a good lead into then asking them to host a party so that they can get the Rock either free, 50% off, 60% off, whatever, to still get what they want. 2 weeks, your answer is 2 weeks, check in. What did you say, Melissa, there? Check in on order and remind of the opportunity. So very good, Melissa. 2 weeks after the party, then they should have their product. And then you're following up as doing a customer care. Did the package arrive okay? Have they taken it out of the box? Do they remember how to use it? Do they have any specific questions now that they actually have it in their own kitchen and they're using it? And then again, reminding them either about having a party on their own if they didn't on that night, or about the opportunity. Did you, have they thought about it anymore or doing what it is you do? And maybe sharing with them what the new consultant, reward is this month. And if maybe that's something that would pique their interest. And then 2 months later, again, it's just a follow-up. How are things? Hey, Kim.
Hey,
Hi, Kim.
can you hear me?
Yes.
The
Nice.
last one, right?
What did you
Yes,
do
it
different?
is. Congratulations. You missed the congratulations in the beginning. You made it to the end.
I did. Thank you.
Awesome.
Follow up in 2 months. By 2 months, maybe there's new products to come out that you want to share with them. We change seasons twice a year, March and September. But in summertime, we come out with a couple new products. In the fall, we'll come out with a couple new products. So we got the holiday guide coming out. And it's just a way to to share with them what's new and going on and seeing if there's something else that you can interest them in, or maybe offer them a complimentary, not a complimentary isn't free, but a product that maybe goes with whatever last time. And, make that suggestion to them. Here's something else they may want to pick up now to have in their kitchen that would go well with whatever they had before. Maybe they got the pie plate before and now you're going to suggest a cream maker, something like that.
So, Carol, will we be the fall little mini catalogs? Will there be a new one coming out for the new products? I'm almost out of the little fall ones, and I was going to order some more.
So the fall catalogs, the big full-size ones that just started.
No, just the
September
little mini ones. Just the little mini
little
ones.
mini ones go at the same time as the big ones do, and those come out each September and then each March. So if you want more of the little mini catalogs, go on and order them.
Okay,
Also
great.
to note, there's a new holiday guide that became available today that you can order. That's going to have some holiday packages. I don't exactly know what's in it, Shelley or Shaughnessy, if you know. I saw where I could purchase them, and I bought some packs to send to me. but I didn't see where I could see what's actually in it. So I don't know if there was a PDF version of it. Remember last year, the holiday guide was only a PDF version, and we were supposed to share the PDF or print it out ourselves.
Right. I actually studied that when I saw the news about the little holiday one. It was in our, it was on the team meeting. It was on one of the slides on the team meeting, the PowerPoint that they gave us. And it said it was going to be available as a download as well as one you could order a hard copy of. That's
Yes,
what you're
but
asking
I
about.
didn't see it on the website last night, the downloadable one. But in the supply cart, I was able to go on last night and order packs of 25,
Okay.
and they're already on their way to me.
Good. Oh, you go. That's awesome. I haven't looked yet. I heard they weren't going to be available till today.
I know, but
Go
once
ahead.
it was after midnight Central Time, I went on 11 o'clock last night our time because I knew we were at October 1st,
Yep.
and I placed a nice supply order to get the little mailed to me. But I couldn't find the PDF version last night, and I didn't check again today, October 1st Pacific time.
We'll take a look.
So there are going to be some little things on that. So I went ahead and purchased some of those because I had some mini catalogs I'm going to be sending out to the people, and I wanted to kind of include the holiday guide with it. So I went and
okay.
jumped on.
So the little holiday guide fits inside the little mini catalog, so you can send them both out together.
I'm going to send them out together, whether it's going to fit inside or they're going to be complimentary. It looks like it's the same size as the mini catalog, but I'm assuming it's less pages.
Okay.
But again, I couldn't see a PDF version of it to really know what's in it. You know,
Okay.
4 pages, is it 2, is it 8? I really don't know. And I was also unclear, Shelley, unless you know, when are those special packs or whatever available that we can sell?
I don't remember. Yeah, we'll have to look.
I didn't see that either. So again, that's why I was looking for a PDF version of it.
Okay.
So as we said, we're all always learning because they're always coming out with so much stuff for us that we got to try to keep up. But the STIR comes out tomorrow, so I'm assuming the answers to all my questions will be in the STIR tomorrow.
Good point.
Okay, so you know the word say to each customer, whether on the phone or in the person, and you found out, if you actually made any phone calls this week, you found out that they really do love to hear from you. I have to say too, when I pick up the phone and I call people, I usually get the "I'm glad you called because I had a question about this," or "I was wondering about that," you know, or "the sleeve on my food chopper cracked, how do I get another one?" So they do like to hear from you. They don't usually think that you're pestering them, as long as you're calling to do the customer care as your focus, and then the other stuff will come from it. Consider not asking for a booking till the 2-month call and see what happens. Just give good customer service in the 2-day and 2-week call. So any questions on that, or we're actually finally ready to move to slide 3?
I'll throw in one little tip. I finished a virtual party last week, and the host is kind of still doing her shopping, and she asked me the difference between the rock crock grill stone and the stoneware stone. So I told her, you know what, let me answer that by going live into your virtual party so that 250 other people would hear the answer. And that's how I provided customer service to her. I said, guys, hey, I'm just popping in. Jeanette asked me this question. I'm going to answer it. This is easier than typing, right? And I tossed in a thing about, you know, hosting and Jeanette getting a half price choice on the future parties and blah, blah, blah. I just kind of interweaved those. And it was 3 minutes, something like that. And everybody was commenting. It was really cool. I haven't gone back and seen what their comments was, but there's another way you can just do customer care and customer service is if you have virtual parties that you've done and they're set up, use those. They're sitting there still available.
Okay, so slide 3.
Yep. Oh, it didn't go. There it is.
Okay, so did any of you make customer care calls last week and want to share anything as to how it went? Did you learn anything from the recordings in this past week's homework?
Well, I didn't do, I actually did an in-person, so I didn't make the phone call, but I saw someone in person. I made a delivery of something. I'd already delivered their products, and it was a delivery of something else, one of the realtor baskets. And it was really good. I was able to answer some questions. It was good because then I was able to in person just be able to do a pulse check on the people that did order other things outside of the, there were 3 people that ordered. So that was kind of fun, but it wasn't a call.
That's good. Okay, and then Melissa's added in the chat, I did customer care and people seem to say thanks. I love that Michael, that was really funny and helpful.
He's a trip, huh?
I love Michael Reeves. He's just amazing. I could watch his videos over and over again, and I love to imitate him in his accent, but he's always full of good information. And I'll never, even with all my natural abilities with numbers, I'll never remember all the product numbers.
Oh, I know. That's his superpower, must be.
Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so customer care calls. Anybody got plans to make some this week?
Yes.
Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so today we're going to discuss organization and calendar management. Next slide, please. Okay, so there's various different organizational systems. Calendar, task lists, tickler files, electronic management versus binders, booking and recruit lead logs, goals and daily affirmations, power hour, business in the bag. So I think we want to go to the next slide. All right, so the first of those is calendars. Some people keep their calendars on their phone. Some do an electronic one on their computer, like an Outlook. Other people do paper calendars, and they list there a couple different companies that make paper calendars. We probably are going to get, many of us are on the call, six different ways that people like to do their calendar. I would say pick something that gals post. Oh, thanks, Shelley. Asking you to post that, which method you use for your calendar. Some people do color coding. You can do that on an electronic one. You can do that with Post-it notes or highlighters on a paper one. One of the things you want to think about is things can easily move, though, from one day to the next. So I think, Shelley, I don't know if you still do it, but you would do a Post-it note with your available dates on your calendar so that you could.
I still take it to my shows. I'll grab it real quick. Keep on going. I'll be right back.
But one of the big things on your calendar, I say, no matter what version you're doing it on, is you want to block out things on your calendar in advance for things that you can't move around. Let's say you work a day job, so you can't do PC during those hours, or you always go to church every Sunday morning. You know, whatever the things are that are set in stone that have to be blocked out, put those things in there. And then you'll end up coming down to when you'll have time available to do shows, and try to block those out as far in advance as possible. So I think we talked about this in the program earlier on, of always knowing when of the 3 dates that you're available to do a show. And does Vanna here have something to share with us? I was referring to you, Shelley. I said Vanna.
I didn't quite hear you. Thank you. Good segue, Carol. So I do just go to CVS and buy a little $5 calendar every year. And I do that because it is a really good tool. Yes, I do have calendar on my phone, but this is a booking tool. And the trick is that you want to be sure to have it a weekly calendar, not a monthly calendar, because when you're talking with somebody and you show them a whole month, and you say, when do you want to do your party? And today's October 1st. If you're showing them October, their eye tracks down to the bottom and you end up booking the end of the month. Or heaven forbid, flip the page into November and then their eye tracks and you're booking the end of November. What I do, and this is just an example, I mark yellow boxes wherever I have a 3-hour block of time that I'm available to do my parties after I put in all my things I cannot move off the calendar. And I use these little Post-it note flags, and I just put a whole bunch of them inside the front cover. And when I'm talking with somebody, I'll say to Tony, Tony, we're at Tony's party right now, and I'm talking to Sally. So my next available date is, and even if I have to turn the page, is tomorrow. How about tomorrow for your party? No, that's too soon. Okay, no, but the next available date is the next day. They may say no a couple times, and then they'll end up booking it. And then if they have to move it, these little flags will lift up off of here if you have to move it. So you tell them it's not locked in stone, but at least this way I save a date for you. And Tony's is a good example. She was a virtual party and it just wasn't getting traction. I said, let me come over and let's cook dinner with a couple of folks. And she moved this date 3 times. And we finally did it on September 16th. That party just closed at $700. 2 virtual bookings who are the ones who are working on closing doing their host orders right now, and more bookings from those. So it kind of lives in both worlds, the virtual and the in-person parties. Does that help? Does that kind of show what you were trying to explain, Carol?
Yeah. And then if you do electronic, since the Post-it note concept doesn't really work with the electronic calendar, but it does in a way that you can, when you figure out when your available times are, you can block an appointment on your calendar called open night or open show time, something like that, so that when you're talking to somebody, you can do a search for the word open show or whatever you call it, and then it'll come up with the next available thing that falls under that description, open show. And that's the way you can share with people, I'm open Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Well, that doesn't work for you. Well, my next one is Sunday afternoon at 2. By just searching through open, and then once it's no longer open because Sally picked that slot, they put Sally's name in there for PC show with Sally. Does that make sense? So that's a way to kind of convert the Post-it note idea into the electronic format.
Are you using the calendar functioning in your iPhone, or is it a particular app to do that? I use Cozy. I don't know if I can set it up like that. That'd be cool if I could.
I actually don't do that, but it was a tip that I picked up either on this, it was on this slide description here, but I also heard it in one of the coffee talks.
Okay.
That's a great tip. I did not know that because I actually use both. I use a Google Calendar and color code for everything, but when I do a cooking show, I have one of those little ones like Shelly with a Post-it note, so I can move their Post-it note with all their information on it to another date if they cancel or reschedule.
And something too that you can do with an electronic calendar, like when I said, if you always know you're blocked out on, say, Sunday mornings for going to church, you can set up a repeat. And so just, put it in your calendar, 9 to 11 Sundays every week, church, or whatever it is that maybe like Kate has bell practice on Monday night. So that saves you time in trying to put those things on your calendar if you use that repeat function that you can do with an electronic one. Let's see, to-do list. Some people do those with paper and pen. Some people, I guess, did I skip over? Or are we not on the same one? I think you're a slide behind me, Shelley. That slide 6 that you're on? Okay, so that's calendars. Now the next slide.
Next slide. Sorry about that. Okay.
There you go. That's a smartphone calendar. Yeah, PC open. That was the thing I was trying to describe. That's how somebody puts it in there. And then that way there you could search for it. And you could change it. And then you see how October 8th now has changed to PC show with whoever Ariane Zolder is. or DD Drain. So that's the way I think to kind of move the Post-it note thing. And then as you see here on the electronic calendar, then you can also do notes on that appointment to add where the person's located, what their phone number is, who the party was booked off of, and what you're cooking that night.
Excellent.
Okay. I think next slide. Task list. A brain dump at bedtime. This is something I know I personally need to do more of because I end up not sleeping for the first 45 minutes that I lay in bed because I'm thinking about all the things that I need to do. And so it would be a good idea if I took my own advice here and write down all the tasks. You know, have a notepad next to your bed at night and write down all those things that you know, need to get done the next day. List the top 5 things to do each day. What are the have to be done items for tomorrow? And then you actually will sleep better at night because you're not having those things mull around in your head, making sure that you remember to do it when you wake up in the morning. If you know you have listed it out, it'll be waiting for you on your nightstand when you wake up in the morning.
Another one kind of similar to that Kathy Cocazella taught us at one of our lead programs was Nighterize. Has anybody heard of that one?
No.
And so it's kind of similar, but it's in reference to your desk. So when you nighterize, before you go to bed or leave your office for the evening, clear your desk so that it's literally ready to start when you start in the morning, and then write down 3 things that you need to accomplish the next day, like the most important 3 things. And it can be a personal thing, like 2 business things and a personal thing, or 3 business things, but clearing your desk and having your first 3 things ready to go.
Cool. What was it called, Shaughnessy?
Nighterize, Nighterized.
Ah,
Like
okay.
organized, but nighterized.
Energize.
Night arise, like NIGHT.
Right.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Cool.
And there's also apps that you can use for to-do lists. Does anybody use an app for a to-do list?
I use Wunderlist.
Wunderlist?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it you like about that? Because I'm always looking for a to-do list that I can do.
I like it because you can make multiple lists, and then you can, like, it literally crosses them off. So you can check the box and it'll cross it off, and you hear like a bell. And so it's very satisfying to me, however silly it might sound, that to hear the bell and see it get crossed off. So I even do it like for grocery lists for host coaching, lists of which team members I need to contact that day, or whatever it may be.
Okay. All right, next slide, please. Okay, a tickler file or an index box. So there's various different systems on doing things like this. A tickler box that has 1 through 31, or January, December. And the basis behind that is putting things that you need to do on a monthly basis or things you need to do on a daily basis, hence the 1 to 31 or the January to December. Color coding things is helpful. I think color coding is always helpful because it's visual as well. And you can put each task or lead on a card and place behind number 1 through 31. I know at one point too, Shelley, you were using a spiral notebook, like with each day.
You know, that's still it's a really good system. You just get a regular spiral notebook, you know, one of these like this with like at least 120 pages. And when you get started, you write today's date at the top and the people that you call and contact and kind of the first time you write them, you write all of their details, the address and phone number and what you talked about. And then you say, okay, shall I follow up with you, day after tomorrow? Well, each page in your notebook has got the date. So next page has the next date. And so you go to day after tomorrow and write their name and say, see today's date. So you go, October 3rd, and you write down their names. That's what you need to do on October 3rd. But you don't have to rewrite their stuff. You just say, see October 1st. And that's where you have all the original details of your first conversation. And so you go on and on and on. And let's say you talk with somebody today who you say, oh, they say, I want to, but contact me 1st of November. You flip to November 1, write their name down and say, see October 1st. And so this grows, and it really, really does work well. It's a take along, carry along kind of system. And you'll have the tracking of when you touched somebody. And if you missed someone, let's say you're supposed to contact them on the 3rd and today's the 5th, you just write them down on the 5th and say, see October 3rd, which says see October 1st. And so it's just all tracked for you. Does that make sense?
And you kind of leapfrog basically from page to page.
It does. And you kind of implement your 222 with it, call somebody in 2 days after the party when you I left a voicemail, and then say, then jump ahead 2 weeks and mark their name down and say, see the date that I called them the last time. So we had learned it and I wanted to try it out. I ended up using that system for a whole year. I was just really rocked with it. It really was kind of cool.
I use that with Evernote because of you, Shelley.
There you go.
With tagging.
With tagging. Mm-hmm.
So what they're talking about that on the tagging is Shelley is the expert on Evernote and keeps notes on absolutely everything in there. And then you can tag something and you can tag it with a date or something like that. And so then don't you create a to-do list then on October 1st and search through for October 1st, and anything that has the tag of October 1st will come up with a thing.
That's my to-do list, right? Yeah, today, October 1st, I'd open up Evernote, which is it's really, really packed chock full now. And anything that I know I needed to do on October 1st, I'd add the October 1st tag. And so my first thing in the office, you open up that tag, and whatever pieces of information had that tag, that's what you do. You remove that tag and then put on a follow-up tag for October 3rd or October 15th or whatever it is. The trick is making sure that you do that every morning, that you follow up with it and actually open it up. So you can create systems with that, and it does work really well.
And this is another thing I wanted to say on the 1 through 31 versus the January to December tag. So if you have whatever task that you need to do in January, you can just put those all on a card and stick it in the January box. And then once you get to January, then you can kind of fan them all out and then say, okay, now I'm in January. Mm-hmm. What needs to be done on the 1st versus what needs to be on the 10th. And then you put them behind the 1 through 31 card. So I just want to kind of explain that if I wasn't.
And make sure by the end of the month that you've cleared everything out of the 1 through all the days, 30 days.
Yeah.
Before you get on to the next month.
Yeah. And if, the weekend turns out busier than you thought, or initially you thought you were going to be able to do something on the 22nd, and then you end up with some last minute out of town trip or something on the 22nd, and just move those things to the 24th. Just move them along to as they're cleared out at the end of the month. Okay. What else? Door price slips, customer care, PC errands. You can kind of use this for everything. But one thing I have to say about door price slips, one of the things you want to make sure you do is that any of the information on there that you get it keyed into your contacts in Consultant's Corner. Like when you do a vendor fair or any of your parties, if you have anybody that filled out door slips, you want to get that information into Consultant's Corner so that you make sure they're in your contacts, you're sending out the e-newsletter, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, or Shelley, do you have anything to add?
No, that you make a very good point. Like whatever system you are using, whether it's electronic or whether it's a hard copy or a tickler box, being sure to have set an appointment with yourself to do things like, add those people into your contacts and click the button to send them an e-newsletter. That's essential. Kate just did a vendor event at a farmer's market this weekend. So one of the things, your takeaways from something like that are those drawing slips. Those you want to be sure you have, these little guys, right? You use that to collect people's contact information, because that adds to your growing body of customers. And they may not necessarily book or cook or buy or do Pampered Chef right this minute, but if you follow up with them and keep in contact, they could be a consultant later who becomes a director on your team, or they could end up hosting a party or referring somebody to you. But there's two different, whatever major system you use, and then also be sure to put them into your content in your consult corner.
And make sure that you keep those, just like Shelly said, the fortune is in the follow-up, making sure that you actually do those contacts. Because just point in case, my story is I was a vendor, or I was at a vendor event, and that's where I met Stacy Itzel, and she called me like 4 times for a party before I ever called her back.
Yep.
And here I am 8 years later. So track them all. You never know.
That's a very good point. Very good.
And another thing to think about too, kind of a little bit ties into door slips. When you are talking to people and, maybe even guests at your party, and if they do fill out the door slips or they're filling it out at the vendor event as you're talking to them, if you hear them mention something about maybe they're going to be buying a house, and it is they're moving or buying their house, and if they say, the fall, then add them into the November group to, contact them in the fall and follow up with them. That gives you time for them to have a party, maybe once they've moved into a new house and are setting up their new kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're ready to move on to the next. If Shelly can help us with that.
Yep.
Okay. This year came from Executive Director Ellington Boyce. I guess she did a discussion on Coffee Talk about organization. And so her steps are eliminate, automate, delegate, duplicate. So eliminate is things you don't have to do. So one suggestion, set up a carpool for your kids to get to school or get to their activity. You don't maybe have to be the one that drives them every time, maybe share with a neighbor or another parent who's the same activity, and that frees up a little bit of time for you and for her so that she can run some errands while you're taking her kids or to the weekly cheer practice or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Cook on Monday for Monday and Tuesday. So then that frees up some time for you on Tuesday night if your dinner is cooked on Monday to either be enough for 2 nights or just make 2 meals on Monday night. And once you have all the equipment out, you're messing up your kitchen once, you're cleaning up your kitchen once. Automate. Automate things as much as you can. Set up your bills to be auto withdrawn from your checking account or paid on your credit card, however you pay your bills, so that you don't have to worry about that on a weekly, daily basis. Use Post My Party or SendShare to post to your virtual party to our team page. Make the same recipe every month. I kind of mentioned that. Pick 1 or 2 recipes, and those are your focus for October. Delegate. Hire your kids to label catalogs, put together host packets. Maybe hire an assistant like a high school student to help with some of those routine tasks that are necessary in your business but aren't directly income generating tasks in your business. Duplicate. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone when you can. Say you have new team members, train 2 of them at the same time.
Record yourself.
Try to think of, which is why we're doing the 6 weeks of success together. Shelly, Shaughnessy, me, Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one that I've spoken at in the whole 6-week program, but Kim's been in the thing the whole time. I didn't have to personally be on this call all 6 weeks to help my new team member because we as directors all divided up which weeks we were going to personally take responsibility for. Videos for host coaching or live segments on virtual parties. So maybe Shelley, you want to share a little bit how you're doing your Facebook Live now to get to 3 virtual parties all at the same time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I rather than if you are doing virtual parties, rather than just doing one and then going live into that party, if you're doing another one, having to go live into that one. This is kind of a system. I don't know how. I know of one other director who's doing this, but I have a VIP page on Facebook. It's kind of my place where my customers get to go and get news and whatnot for me. But that's where I go live. And so when I have virtual parties, their virtual party is set up here, the host with their friends, another one here, the host with their friends, another one here, the host with their friends. But throughout the party, I tell them that by virtue of the fact that their friend invited them, they get an invitation to my VIP page, which is where I will be going live one time. And when I go live and whatever day I'm going to be making dinner, I pick it each week and do something different each week. I tell them, my host of my host of this week are Melissa and Justine and Marley, and they and their friends are here watching, and I'm featuring them, and here's the links to each of their parties. Today I'm going to teach you how to make dinner with the quick cooker. If you want to order, pick one of their parties and order, and if you were invited here by them, you place your order on their link. And so I've done that week after week, and now I'm seeing my VIP page grow. And they each have then access to the future live cooking classes that I'll do. So that's my concept, and it's working. It's good?
Yeah. And you can also record a video, like a welcome video, and then you can use that in multiple virtual parties, because what's your story and how long you've been with Pampered Chef and why you joined, that's not changing. So you can record that, say that in whatever virtual party you want. Another tip is to focus on live communication during times when others are awake. So if you need to do host calls or cook calls with your teammates, do those during waking hours, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is typical times that are, acceptable to making phone calls. Don't use prime time of, 7 o'clock at night to be putting labels on the backs of catalogs. That's something you can do while you're watching TV later at, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night when you're kind of down. But don't waste the precious, and that's not the time you'd be making phone calls. So it's an excellent time to do putting together host packets or labeling catalogs or whatever it is. So be choosy about how you spend your time during the normal business hours. Have systems in place to use small pockets of time. Well, business in a bag. Color code your calendar. We talked about that. Blue for family, yellow for your full-time job, pink for PC. Doing the brain dump and then picking those top 5 things. But then you want to have things ready to go when you have a small pocket of time. So this was actually talked about on Coffee Talk too, maybe a week or 2 ago. And I don't remember now who the speaker was. But she kind of has a list of things that are weekly tasks, monthly tasks, daily tasks, whatever it is. And so if you always kind of know what those are, when you then have a hour block of time, or you're sitting in the car because your kid's in a practice or something like that, and it doesn't make sense to drive all the way home and drive all the way back. If you have your business in a bag, you have your laptop or your phone with you, or whatever it is that you need to get done, you want your stuff to be transportable. And you don't want to waste your time when you have that 45 minutes to think about what should I do. You kind of already have your tasks ready to go, and then making sure, like if you're going to use that time to put labels on catalogs, make sure you have labels printed out ahead of time. When I print out labels, I print a whole stack of them. I think I printed like 100 sheets of them yesterday, so that I don't have to start looking for labels to stick on. I have a stack ready to go. It's a lot less time that I'm pulling out tray and switching paper to labels, that kind of thing.
That's a good.
I do I do this a lot because I have a lot of small children and we're constantly on the go for practices and school pickup and all that stuff. So I always carry contact notebooks. I carry, if I have training scheduled, I carry my training binder so that I can plug my headphones in and do a training call right while I'm sitting in my car. If I had to wait until I literally got to my desk in my office to do everything, I would not have a business.
No way. No way. That's why Evernote has helped so much. Carol, to spin off on that point, guys, think ahead. Don't just set up a host packet when you book a party. Set up your host packets for your entire 6-month season. Kim was asking about when the catalogs change, and the catalog stays the same for 6 months. So estimate how many parties a month you want to do, pad that a little bit, and make that many host packets. Do it one time during the season, and then watch that pile decrease. It's very satisfying. And that's delegate and get your kids involved in helping you do that.
And it's also a visual reminder that you had wanted to do, say, 5 parties a month, and with 6 months of the catalog that you made 30 of those. And by month 3, if 28 of them are still sitting on your shelf and haven't gone anywhere, then you need to get yourself in gear and try to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on this? Can we move to the next slide, please?
Sure.
Here's the thing about the business in a bag, always having something to work on. Shaughnessy gave us an excellent example there of her always having her training binder with her, post booking binder, whatever, so that you're always ready to go. Next slide, please. Organizing your, remember I kind of talked about on Coffee Talk that they talked about, you know, having tasks that are set up for what you do every week or what you do every day. So here's a way to organize your week. Personal business on Monday. So maybe when you have pockets of time on Monday, you deal with personal tasks, whether that's paying bills or scheduling doctors, you know, calling the doctor's office to make appointments. Team time on Tuesday. That's the time to work with team members. Now, obviously, these things can't be set in stone, because if you want team time to be on Tuesdays and then you join the 6 Weeks to Success program and we make the calls on Monday night, and have to squeeze this in. But maybe Tuesday then would be the time that you're watching the video or doing the homework. Wow Wednesday. Recognize wow. Team, your host. Talk about it Thursday. Emails, correspondence, calls. Maybe that's the day you routinely make all your phone calls or send out your emails. Facebook Friday. Virtual parties. Template setup. So, Shelley, I think you're doing on your virtual parties, aren't you doing a set day? Are you starting on Wednesday and you're going through Sunday?
I'm actually, my virtual parties start Mondays. The pre-party is Friday through Sunday, so that I'm consistent. Just always, I can count on that schedule.
And so that way there, when you're doing a virtual party, obviously when you're doing a home party, you have to kind of coordinate with the host, because she's got to be home and available the night you want to come over. But on the virtual party, you can just say, this is my schedule for virtual parties, and that's when they start and that's when they end. Mm-hmm. We don't have to necessarily, oh, I want to start on a Tuesday and the other one wants to start on
crazy. Yeah. Yeah, same with your live parties. I was just on the phone with Beth, brand new consultant, and we were commenting about this. She goes, "So do I just ask them what we should cook?" And I said, "No. In fact, you can not even give them a choice, right? You pick, for a new person, you pick one party theme that you're going to do for the whole month. How simple would that make it? You're learning, you're just brand new. Just pick one for the month. I'm doing a Death by Chocolate. She happens to have a deep cover baker, and she just made a lava cake to try it out. She's so freaking excited. She booked 4 parties. Death by Chocolate, Death by Chocolate, Death by Chocolate, Death by... You don't have to get the host's input on recipes. You can pick them.
And it also is, I think, something good that you can use as a lead to getting parties. You can, we talked about that guinea pig post. You can post something on Facebook. I'm currently booking and practicing how to do Death by Chocolate parties. Who would
Mhm.
like me to come on over?
Who wants a practice death by chocolate party? Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a little more specific than saying who would like to have a party. Who would like to have me to come over? I'm doing Death by Chocolate parties. Who's it? Show lead Sunday. Do one live show and contact show lead. So, obviously you tweak these things to fit your life, but it's kind of giving you the idea of setting a schedule. And that way there, when you do have time available to work, you're not spending half that time figuring out what do I want to do or what should I do.
Right.
Sorry, kind of laid out for you.
We used to have another idea to just interject on that topic is if you're predominantly doing live parties and you have a family at home and you have little kids, it's a really good idea to just set show nights, whether they're Tuesday and Thursday, whether they're Friday and Saturday. Set them consistently for every week. The family starts to get into the groove, like, oh, mom's going to be gone doing her show on Tuesday night. Oh, it's Thursday night. Where is she? Oh, that's right, mom's gone. So they're making dinner on their own, for example. And if you do not have your calendar booked, you've already set that time aside, go somewhere and work. The family doesn't need to know whether or not you're doing a show or not, but you went ahead, you allocated that time. So use it for work. And then until you get your schedule where you are actually going out every Tuesday and Thursday night, for example, whatever days you pick. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I highly recommend Saturday mornings blocking off for coffee talk. So I'd like to give a plug for that because we've talked about a couple things here that have been talked about on Coffee Talk before. So there's the East Coast version and a West Coast version. The East Coast version is called Coffee Talk, and it's at 9 a.m. East Coast time, 6 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday morning. And the West Coast one is called Saturday Success Calls, I believe.
Mhm.
And those are at 8:30 Pacific time. So that would be 11:30 East Coast time. 30 minutes, first 5 to 10, share what great thing happened this week. The other 20 minutes is some speaker who's a director somewhere, talks on a specific topic, allows times for questions at the end. They're recorded. And then any handouts that they talk about, like host coaching, checklist, whatever it is, they usually post those supplemental materials in the Facebook groups for those respective call groups. And when you mentioned about the family knows where's mom on Thursday night, my husband knows at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings that my phone is going off with my alarm at 10 to 6. But I wake up to listen to the call now every Saturday morning at 6 a.m. But I find them really worth it, so I recommend those. All right. Any questions? Are we ready for our next slide?
Sure. I just put those dates and times and stuff on there. If you guys need added to either, there's Facebook groups for both those East and West Coast Saturday morning trainings. Just message us. We can add you to any of the groups. That way you'll have access to all the recorded calls and reminders about what topics are coming up. Okay.
So the next thing here is a binder system. And again, these can be done on paper or electronic. A booking binder, I mean, things like the host special flyer, the guest special flyer, once those come out, print out a few of those. And you can use those sheet protectors and put them in a binder so that every time you're looking for those, to physically give them out. I mean, you want to have an electronic version of it saved somewhere so that you can email it out or message it out. But I have to say, I have found myself, and I need to get better about this, printing out multiple of them at a time, because I feel like I waste time every time I have to log back into Consultant's Corner to go print them again. And
to print recipes.
Some binders you keep for training, for the host coaching. You want to share a little bit about the binders that you keep?
You were breaking up a little bit. And did you say, what were you printing out? Recipes?
No, like the host special, the guest special.
Yeah.
So that when I print out October's host special, I don't just print out one copy. and then when I need it again, I don't have to go print out another one. I try to print, like, say, 10 of them.
Okay. Huh. I don't print the specials per se. I do one a month, and I have a show binder that I take to my parties that has this month's special, next month's special, the guest special, the recruiting special, some of my theme shows. So that's a binder that physically goes with me to my parties. I do find that even though I do a majority of what I do electronically, I find that a binder of the recipes that I've printed out has been super helpful. They go into a sheet protector, and I've found that that's grown over the years. And so I tab them in different categories, and I will pull them out. Like, holidays are coming up. Turkey season is coming up. Like right now, I'll go to that binder and pull out all my turkey recipes, and turkey leftovers, and you can do shows on, gosh, what's the term, Shaughnessy and Carol, I'm thinking of, turkey leftover parties. How to use your leftover turkey. So you can do parties between now and Thanksgiving where you teach people how to use up all those leftovers you're going to have, and use chicken. You don't have to, host doesn't have to go buy turkey, but they can do the recipes, turkey, cranberry ring, and so forth. But if I physically have copies of the recipes, people are like, oh, wow, I want this for my party.
Isn't it called Hide the Turkey?
So I found that that's helpful. What other binders do you use? Shaughnessy's got a fabulous one for training.
Isn't it called Hide the Turkey, the show you're talking about?
Yeah, there's a couple different fun names for it. How to Hide the Turkey. Thanks, Shaughnessy. She's got her phone muted because the kids are in the background. I can hear, but she has a binder that Pampered Chef has made a really efficient, simple coaching system for us to help new consultants. And it ties right in with the Pampered Chef University. It ties right in with the emails that you guys get, starting with the moment that you order your kit. They do just-in-time emails that basically follow you along during your first days and weeks and send you an email. It's like, I was just talking with Beth, and she just booked her first 4 parties. And she goes, I just got an email that said, now that you've got your parties booked, here's what to do next. And so the binder that Shaughnessy has, there's a page for each consultant, and you have a sleeve with like their first call, and their paper goes in the first call sleeve when you're on the first call, and then you keep your notes on it and move them to the second call folder and so forth. And it just all lives in a binder, and my binder's sitting right here, and my pages are growing because we've been booming lots of new consultants, and thank God. Just looking at that, we added Carol's added 24 people just on her team this year.
Wow.
So far. Yeah, exactly. My numbers aren't nearly as good, but you know that Carol's got a really good system because her consultants are doing great, and they'll tell you, yeah, Carol's right there to help me. Well, you got to have a system for that, and Pampered Chef set that up for us. We don't have to recreate the wheel. Does that help?
Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. And then there's also one here, a taxes binder, expanding file folder. So something to keep track of any of your business expenses. So that's another binder you may want to keep. What else? What slide number are you on there, Shelley? Do you know?
I don't know what number it is. That's on the electronic binders files, Evernote.
Okay, so I think you're on slide 14.
Okay.
All right. If you're an electronic person, you can make binders in Evernote. And again, Shelley has absolutely everything in her life saved in Evernote. I'm not nearly as good at Evernote as Shelley is, but I aspire to be. So e-cookbooks you can keep in there. So things, think about it, let maybe a week go by and start making a list. What are the things that I'm reaching for all the time? I'm wasting my time looking for over and over again. Those are the things that you're going to want to come up with a system of. Where can I put this so I can either quickly get to it or have 5 copies of it ready to go at all times, so that you're not picking up and, doing the same task over and over again, when you can spend a little more time, essentially cut the overall time that you spend doing that task repeatedly. That hopefully makes sense. Okay. Virtual party content, that's another thing where using something like Post My Party or SendShare gives you the ability to save electronic images, to save your post. I mean, when you do a virtual party, you're going to have an outline, and some of the things are going to change, obviously, from party to party, but some of them are not. So, again, don't have to recreate the wheel or go searching for them. You want to save them in hopefully something electronic so that those are always at the ready. Lead logs. You know, again, I don't want to make it sound like you're going to be carrying around, you know, like a backpack full of binders and notebooks everywhere you go. And so as much of it as you can make electronic as possible. But I also know, like, a lead log. You can list, you know, find some way where you're keeping track of that you talked to Sally on such and such a day, and she was a potential consultant lead, but didn't want to sign now. You don't want to forget about Sally. If she just didn't want to sign now, try to get when would be a good time to follow up and ask you again. So when something like a $29 quick cooker special comes out, you have your list ready to go as to who would be good people to call. So you're going after hot leads instead of cold leads, which take a lot longer to turn in a real consultant. Making notes under my contacts on the website. So when you have all your contacts in Consultant's Corner, there is a way to add notes to each contact in there. So that may be another helpful place to keep information that you can always quickly get to. What else? Tracking recruit leads, doing cooking shows. We talked about doing the same recipe all month long, having host packets made up ahead of time in bulk. The other thing would be is having your bag packed with the tools and equipment that it takes to do no-stir risotto. So you come home with those dirty dishes, you wash them, and you pack them right back in the bag again. So if no-stir risotto is what you're doing this month, your bag is kind of always ready to go. You're not hunting for your garlic breath 2 minutes before you're trying to run out the door, only to find it dirty and cruddy in the dishwasher, and now you gotta rip it out and clean it. Making sure that you're always well stocked in your bag, you know, having like a little zippered pouch for keeping lead slips, pens, whatever those little tools that you want to have with you. And if you come home from a party and you went through them all, restock that night, because that'll be a lot better than showing up at the next party and finding out you'll have one lead slip and one pen left. Okay, next slide, please. We, I think, covered all of those. Next slide, please.
Virtual party tips.
Virtual party tips. We talked about templates, hosting services. Oh, host coaching group. Shelly, I know you were using that too. Weren't you doing like a group message with your host?
I was, and I stopped doing it, and mainly it's because my schedule really kind of decreased, and I didn't have a lot of hosts. So now I do, and I'm debating about whether to go back to it again. And it basically, I made a group on Facebook, and each time I booked a party, whether it was a live party or a virtual party, I would say to my host, I really want to help you have the best party possible. I have a host of the month group that I coach and support my hosts to have a fabulous party. Is it okay if I add you? And then it's kind of a little hit or miss, but when you have really people who are super engaged on Facebook, it made all the difference. And then there was those people who weren't necessarily really engaged, but I found out they were paying attention. They just weren't participating. But say I had, you know, I had some months where I had like 15 hosts. Some of them were co-hosting. Some of them were catalog shows. Some of them were live. Some of them were virtual. Some were a combination. But I would host coach into the group. I'd post the monthly special and say, who's, you know, which one of these are you going to recommend to your customers? Or I post something that they could then copy and paste and post into their virtual party. It was really kind of cool because then you got a little bit of competition going on. And let's say it's middle of the month and I was headed off to Sally's house to do a Mexican fiesta. I'd post like, give it up for Sally. She's hosting her parties tomorrow. We're making fajitas. And then the next week, give it up for so-and-so. We're doing risotto. And, you know, I've been doing this for a while. I can do a different recipe at each party without blinking an eye. But it really kind of created some competition. Sally's party's at 585, but Harry's party is at 620. Ooh, let's see who's going to win. And so you had this group for the month that kind of had this fun little bonding going on. And it was much more efficient. It was much more efficient. I would set one up each month.
And another thing, thank you, Shelley. For virtual parties, if you're going to give out prizes, a simple little prize to give out is the season's best.
Mm-hmm.
If you have some of those, already have them in the envelope. You can even already have the 2 stamps or however many it takes to mail those out on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you have to do is just add a little Post-it note that says, you know, well, maybe I already have the Post-it note on the season's best before you put it in the envelope. And then you can just pull it out and say, thanks for partying with Sally, you know, and being highly active in the party or whatever the heck you want to say in your Post-it note. And then again, you're not searching for the recipe book and the envelope and the stamp. You find out you're out of stamps and then you have to go wait in line at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all some time saver ideas. Keeping track of points in the games on Virtual Party. There's an app called Riffle Raffle. You can use that. That's what I use every month when we do our Green by 15. And I put everybody's name in that and how many points they have based on how many days they were green in the month. And click Run Raffle. So it's a very simple little app. Next slide, please.
Mm-hmm.
Power Hour. A power hour is when you dedicate 1 whole hour to just working on your PC business and concentrating on, spend 15 minutes on getting bookings, 15 minutes on recruit leads, 15 minutes on host coaching, 15 minutes on customer care. And the 3-2-1, does anybody know what that is?
I do.
Make 3 contacts a day, 2 shows a week, and 1 recruit a month. There's also another saying that is 8 will make you great. So if you're doing 2 shows a week times 4 a week, that's 8 a month. 8 will make you great. And if you're ever in the lead program or lead plus, your requirements in that are going to be 8 parties a month and 2 recruits a month.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to start out with 1 recruit a month, cheers to you, because that will give you 12 new team members this year. So anything else you want to add to that, or should we move on to the next slide?
Sounds good.
I just want to interject real quick. I have to jump off this call. I have some other appointments tonight, but I am super proud of all of you guys for finishing this 6 weeks to success strong. Way to go. Not everybody makes it through this. So congratulations. Give your guys selves a pat on the back, and looking forward to seeing some of you guys in some future programs.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you.
Next slide. Goal setting and daily affirmation. Only 13% of people set goals. 1 to reach them. And a recommendation is to write them down and read them every day.
Mm-hmm.
And setting goals, you know, those can be goals that are business related. Those can be personal related, you know, and once you have a goal in sight, then you can break it down. What are the steps that I need to do in order to reach that? I mean, I can say I have a goal of losing 20 pounds, but if I don't then break down, what does that mean? How many minutes a day I need to work out, or how many times a week I need to go to the gym, or whatever it is. I don't think those 20 pounds are just going to melt off of me, although I wish that's been working so far. So I obviously have to come up with a different plan. today I make things happen. Affirmations. Write an affirmation and put it on your mirror, someplace that you look at every single day. Maybe inside the door of your closet when you open up your closet door. Something, place where you're going to see it and be a reminder. Maybe, as some people do, I know where you can get something like that, like pop up, set it as like a reminder on your phone. So it'll pop up at a certain time every day. Setting it as a reminder on your phone. Next one. So you've learned some great skills the past 5 weeks. How do we put it into action? Next one. Some people just walk through life. They talk, and life is over. Some people walk through life. They walk, and arrive at their destination. So next slide. Self-assessment checklist. Next one. So am I walking the talk checklist? Do my hosts ever have to call and ask me for something? Am I punctual to my host home, team meetings, trainings? Am I kind, courteous, quick to resolve issues, truthful, knowledgeable? Do my guest or host ever say to me that was the most fun I've ever had? What you do, you're just awesome. Do you spend too much time on non-income producing activities? Procrastinate doing homework, making calls, returning calls, and emails? Are my host and recruiting packets clear, concise, clearly labeled, professional looking? Are my shows start to finish no longer than an hour and 15 minutes? Do I start on time as promised? Do I fumble around during my show? Or do I keep them fast-paced, informative, fun, and full of tips? Do I really make 3 calls and contacts a day? Is 50% of my business new business? Is my personal appearance neat and professional? Is my kit clean and tidy? Can I be counted on? So those are things, that's maybe a slide you want to maybe take a screenshot of so that you can kind of, you don't have to share here. It's not confession. But it's something for you to look at and maybe pick 1 or 2 of those things that you think you can improve on. And those are the ones you're going to work on for the next. Then come back to this later and pick 2 more. So that you're always constantly improving, because we can always constantly improve. Next slide. Self-evaluation is hard, but it's really the only way that we improve if we're able to really be honest with ourselves and say, well, where could I do better? What else? What else? And the rest of the notes on this really just kind of give you the examples and all those things. So I think we all can probably look at those items on the checklist and know what they mean and whether we're doing them or whether we could do better. Certainly, if you have any questions on any of those items, speak up now or put it in the chat. And let's see. We've talked about the next one got the pillars of success on it.
Yeah.
There we go. So we talked about the pillars of success over the past 6 weeks. We've learned about belief, passion, skill, and tonight we're talking about will. You can have tons of skills, and after this series, and if you've done your homework, you all have those skills. But if your will isn't there, you've got nothing but chance that this will work out. So you've learned the skills to have a strong business, and we can't make you do these things, but you can. You can do this, put your mind to it, and get to work. This is the best time of year to have completed this program, to be able to put all of this to work. Because today's October 1st, and this is really the start of our holiday season and the last quarter of the year. Shelley, what is the percentage? Do we get?
They say that half of our
probably
business will happen in the next 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, huge. you're in the right place, and to really just take what you've learned in this program and start to just really work it. This is the greatest time.
Yeah,
So
so
I-
I think we pretty perfectly to have this end tonight on October 1st. I don't know if that was intentional, but it certainly worked out pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Kim, were you going to ask a question?
I am. So I've been watching all this, and some of it I'm totally tracking. I'm going, yeah, I'm doing that. That's good. It was kind of instinct. And other areas, I'm just like, I'm gapped. Were you like that when you started? Did you have problems? I feel really kind of humble in certain areas and feel like I'm on the right track in other areas. Is that normal?
Very.
Very.
I mean, you have to think about this, Kim. I mean, you've been a customer, I know, of PC for probably 20 odd years. But you've only been a consultant for a little more than 2. So, put that in comparison. 2 months versus the 20 years you've been familiar with Pampered Chef. So you're probably feeling confident with the product because you've used and played with it in your own kitchen. And so you have a passion and know how wonderful the product is, and you know how to use quite a bit of it.
Right.
But you weren't doing host coaching before.
No, and it's the follow-up. It's the follow-up. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to get off this phone call, and I've got a problem that I've got to deal with. And it just happens to be with my new recruit and billing and product that didn't make it. And I didn't follow up exactly when I found out, because I thought, well, hey, she got the same email I did. She didn't. I should have called her anyway. And it was only a couple days ago, so it's almost real time, but it's not quite. And so now I'm watching all of this, and I'm just kind of convicted that I'm just kind of a lousy hostess, and I'm a lousy what is it?
No.
She's my person under me. So,
yeah. Don't be too hard on yourself. And she's only your first consultant. I mean, you only joined yourself, like I said, 2 months ago. And now you already have somebody under you. You're still in training yourself. So don't feel bad. And we already talked about it. You and I can talk after this call. And
yeah, I've got good questions. And then I've got questions regarding kind of the debacle. So a few areas to hit on.
You kind of need to get your toes wet in a couple bizarre situations, and then you kind of in the moment it's, oh my gosh, but in reality you do have what you need to be wildly successful, and you've already demonstrated that. All of us, no one's perfect. No one has got the perfect Pampered Chef business. There are places where we all fall down, even years and years and years after getting started. So, I mean, I found myself this summer with my schedule was just in shambles. I had nothing. I've just built it up in time to go leave and go have surgery. Good job, Shelley. So perfection is not the standard you want to hold yourself to. If I could tell you anything, we are hard on ourselves. We tend to be, just as women, we're hard on ourselves. As professionals, a lot of us are type A, we expect perfection. We expect it to be just so. And that right there, please give yourself permission to not be perfect. The best thing you can do is go to somebody and say, you know what, guess what? I messed up. I messed up. Can I fix it? Can I make it right? Can I try to make it right? Give yourself that permission. Otherwise, it's too stressful. So I'm not looking for perfect. Have fun. Have fun.
Well, this has been really good. I thank you all, and Shaughnessy too, even though she's gone, all of you ladies, and Carol's been phenomenal, and just so it's been a fun process. It's just a few of the bumps. They'll work out, I guess.
Yes, they will. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so in that self-evaluation, some of those things you want to look at too is all the different things that we talked about, and maybe identify, are there some things that you're doing that you should stop doing? And also, are there some things that you need to start doing? So you kind of want to look at all the things that we talked about and kind of evaluate things in that perspective as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like an example, when I talked about using prime hours to label catalogs, maybe that's something you want to stop doing, is labeling your catalogs at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, which would be good time to make phone calls. and things you want to start doing is maybe developing a host checklist and really doing consistent host coaching. So that's just kind of an example of things to stop doing versus start doing. All right, next slide. All the skill in the world won't help you if you don't have the will. All right, next one. So, you know, I can't make you work, call your host, follow up with recruit leads, book your parties, play with your tools, earn a trip, be punctual and prompt, share the business with everyone, smile at everyone, but you can if you will. And I have complete confidence in all of you. If you made it through this 6-week program, you obviously have the will to get all the rest of this stuff done. So it is quite an accomplishment to make it through the consistency of all 6 weeks of the program.
It is. It is. We asked a lot of you guys. Proud of you.
Thank you
All
all
right.
again. It's been good.
And next slide. Do we have any questions? Next one. You can do it. Next one.
Sorry,
Next
I got my.
one. Yeah, I think those are just, oh yeah, what do you need to continue doing? So what are the things you're doing that are really good, and keep at it. Do we have any overall questions? Thanks, Melissa. She said this has been great. Next one. There's still another slide. Homework. Watch Michael Reed's video and his top 20 business tips. Michael lost his sales 9 times. He is now a top seller in the company with over $1 million in sales. So I want you to write down all 20 tips and then send them to us. Do you have a Google? Does our Google form? I know I have some. That's something I need to be better about is Google Forms. Thanks, she.
I don't know if the week 6 Google form has that in it specifically. There's probably a place. I'll go look at it when we're done. Just FYI, 2 years ago, and Carol, maybe it was 3, Michael Reeves actually presented this top 20 tips for us at National Conference. I was there in the room. Oh my God, it was the best. It was the best freaking thing. So don't skip this. And
Even the video's fantastic.
yeah, I'll have to take a look. I'm not sure if they recorded him doing it that time or if it was another time, but oh my gosh, he was on fire. My notes to this day, I still look back at them. Great notes.
Yeah, it must have been more than that because it was not at a conference that I went to. He was still recovering from his accident.
So it was 3 conferences ago. Yeah.
It was 3 conferences ago.
Yeah. And that just goes to show, put National Conference at the top of your to-do list and start putting away pennies. Ask your director, your recruiter about it. Start building a group of people to go with and make accountability buddies for going to conference. Will absolutely revolutionize. If you thought this 6 weeks to success was good, take this and put this on steroids. That's National Conference. You will really be glad that you went. And it's the July 25th through 27th of 2019. Okay.
All right. Do we have another slide? We talked about self-evaluating, super improvement, commit to changing areas you feel are lacking. Next one.
That's a good one.
So this is a good one. See, here's your comfort zone, that tiny little circle, but where all the magic happens is in that big circle outside of your comfort zone. So every day you should be trying to stretch yourself just a little bit to get outside your comfort zone.
Good point.
Next one. Thank you. We've enjoyed working with all you, and see you at the top.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol. I'm going to click out of this and stop sharing. Real quick, guys, we covered a lot this evening, and I know this particular call was jam-packed. Each of the ones that we've done, the recordings are still available. I haven't taken them down yet. So this one, I know for a lot of the mechanisms and systems and everything, this one might be worth going back through and watching again and taking notes again. But does anybody have a, oh my gosh, the best tip that I learned tonight from Carol and want to share? It's just really good for us for feedback to know we're serving you in the best way we can, and it also helps kind of recap the call. So who wants to share?
My favorite was actually, since I'm so new with Facebook, I still have no picture of myself. I mean, I'm still kind of incognito. I wrote down, I pushed the button when it said birthday, and I had somebody wishing me a happy birthday back in August, and I don't know how to change it. So my birthday's in October. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, the whole thing on how to do the Facebook Live, the virtual parties, Shelly, how you're doing 3 virtual parties in one night and being able to switch it up and everything, that's fun. And I've got a really sweet cousin. Well, she's married to my cousin, and we're gonna do duets. So she's gonna be my I'll be her sidekick. We're gonna cook together. That's gonna be my first one. Before that, I'll be doing a fundraiser in a few weeks, and we're going to do snippets of live video for the Facebook. So I'm diving in a tad, but this is just kind of exciting to really get that feedback on the virtual party world.
Good. And I just put it on the chat. That's my topic that they've asked me to teach on, not this Saturday, next Saturday, from my recovery. I'm having surgery on my feet, so I can do that without walking. That's okay. So tune in and join us, okay?
And that's the West Saturday Coffee Talk?
Saturday the 13th.
Yeah, but I said it's the West Coast one at 8:30 Pacific time.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm not on there. I'm not on their list for the East Coast one. What, Kim?
I'll put it on, we'll put it on our calendar.
Okay. We'll very likely be making announcements about that on our team page.
Perfect.
Yeah, good. Who else wants to share their best? Oh my gosh, thank you, Kim. Patrice, is it your turn?
Basically, that I actually have to sit down and organize.
It kind of hits you, doesn't it?
Because I have piles.
You're
here,
not alone.
Here and everywhere and everything. I'm running a little behind because I'm simultaneously doing this and the home office's Build Your Business in 30 Days. So
oh, good. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And my husband keeps saying, all you are doing is non-income generating. Go out and talk to people.
He makes a good point, but when we put ourselves in an environment like this, 6 weeks to success, we're really putting ourselves out of our comfort zone, and you know, you're equipped now, you're well supported with your directors are here to give you that help, and now you really just need to implement and do that first each day before you play with moving your papers around. That would be my biggest advice. Don't spend days and days and weeks implementing a system. Make your contacts and fit it into a system. That's actually, in terms of Evernote, that's what I teach folks is Evernote is one of those things you can start using it today while you're doing income generating activity. Plug things into it as you start to go, as you're accomplishing things, and then that will start to grow and evolve into the system. When I started using Evernote, I was selling $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And that first full month after I started, I think I sold $6,000. And then the next month I sold 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, something like that. It went like this, like that, boom. Implementing a system that got you efficient. So it will work whether that's your system or something electronic. It makes a big difference. Do it alongside your income producing activities. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes sense. My problem is I hate picking up the phone.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Talking to people.
No, you don't. Say,
I'm
I love picking up the phone.
I'm trying to get past that.
There you go. If you stop yourself from saying that, that's the first step.
I got a vendor event on Saturday, so I will be talking to people.
Great. Thank you, Patrice, for sharing with us. We appreciate that. Anna, how about your favorite?
It's so hard to just choose one thing. I feel like I took so many notes. I don't even know. It's so hard. I'm still processing it all. There's so many good things, you know?
Yep. Pick just one and share with us. It doesn't have to be the very best, just the one that hits you.
I'm looking at all my notes. I'm not.
While you're looking that over, Melissa says, I think taking a look at everyone's system always gives me thoughts for my own, which that's the way it's supposed to work. And reminders to do things in bulk, like in batches, right? Not just one-on-one, but in chunks, right? Bulk things together, match things together, including printing. And then she says, so can us East Coast people not watch that one? Oh, no, you can. Melissa, you can definitely, if you're on East Coast, you just need to get connected into the Saturday Success Talk and just do the adjustment on the time frame. And absolutely, you're welcome. Reach out to any of us and we can add you into that page, okay? What do you think, Anna? Got one?
I feel like, I guess if I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the one recipe a month.
Mm-hmm.
I might do that. And I think it's such an interesting, I guess, thing. But you guys all seem to have so much success with, just offering one or two recipes a month and then just sticking to that. So I might try that.
Yeah, I made salsa chicken lettuce wraps the entire month of September with the quick cooker. That's all I made. That's all I did. I got to come up with something for October. I haven't even figured that out yet. But one recipe. Think of how much simpler your life is going to be. And for virtual, I did the exact same thing. I didn't even ask my virtual hosts. I did a 5-day virtual. I picked a theme a day for 5 days. I didn't even give them the choice. Because I had it all set up in SyncShare. I wasn't going to change it. I was going to change it and for each individual party, especially if I'm doing 3 at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to switch those up and kind of incorporate some more holiday-ish, getting Halloween ideas into them. But I'm not going to change them too very much. One whole day on Quick Cooker. I mean, that will serve me all for the next 5 years, right?
Now, do you find, though, like, if you were to book a show in September and then, somebody booked off of that show, but for later on in the month, you'll still do the same thing at their show?
I did. I absolutely did. I did 3 parties a month every week starting right after Labor Day. And there were people, and I was a little nervous about it. There were people who, like Nikki and Jeanette, booked from Tony. Tony had seen the exact same virtual party. Tony was a guest at Nikki and Jeanette's. They co-hosted a virtual one. And so she saw the very same thing. She kept interjecting and go, oh, this was my favorite. This is my great, this one, And then she would participate in the games and the other girls would say to her, you've already done this one. And she's like, yeah, but they're coming up with different ideas. And they were talking about it in real time on Facebook in the events. It was really cool. And then several people joined. Beth signed up. She was a virtual host that started September 17th, I think. She signed up because she'd seen me do this party again and again and again. Like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah.
There you go. You do not have to make it look tough. You do not have to recreate the wheel. You just need to find something that's working and keep doing that and keep trying it. Don't stop after one party, because it may take 3 or 4 or 5 parties to really get your drill down. Okay? This is not complicated. There's lots of steps. There's things you need to learn. And luckily, it's not going to get boring, is it? Things are always changing. But if something's working, keep doing it. And if you don't know what to do, just turn to your director and say, what are you doing? Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Cool.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You bet, hon. Good job. And give it up for Anna. She's getting it into her 3rd trimester. So you're accomplishing this while having baby hormones going crazy. You're doing great. Did everybody get a chance to share? Shaughnessy's logged off. I think we hit everybody. Melissa commented, do you find that hosts push back? Are you talking about doing the same thing over and over again? I didn't even ask them. And if you have hosts who are asking for a particular recipe, you are the voice of, I'm reading Melissa's comments here. You are the voice of authority between you and your host. And this goes back to host coaching. A new consultant typically will listen to, and I want you to listen, but they will try to do everything their host asks them to do. And they'll end up kind of all over the place. Between you and your host, you do know more. She doesn't realize that yet. And when she's asking you, if she's pushing back or something, if she's asking you to cook something different or to feature something different, you can say, I certainly can. But what I've found is that right now, these are the topics that everybody is finding the most valuable. And I know that because, and you can say, my last 3 parties have done, and if you don't have data like that to share, you can say, I know that because my director's last 3 parties have been massive. So you between you and her, you don't want to bulldoze her, but you do want to guide her. They are concerned about different things. They're not concerned about things that are necessarily going to create a successful party. They want to make sure there's enough food for a live party, that their friends are having a good time, that they've got chairs for everybody. That kind of stuff doesn't matter. It's the showing the products, getting people all interactive. Those are the things that are going to make a good party. And so you need to trust yourself and guide them and say, I could do that, but what I have found is that this is what's going to work a little bit better. Will you just trust me? Because I know I do this for a living. So you may have to just fake it till you make it, until you get those results, but trust your instincts, trust yourself. You know more than they do. Does that help, Melissa?
Yeah, she said gotcha.
Okay. Good. All right. I know we have gone longer than we typically would, but boy, good content. Please join me in giving Carol a great big round of applause for sharing her expertise. Carol she really has this down. After this is done, we are your resources. So reach out to us. If something sounded intriguing about the Tickler file or the notebooks or something, you want more details about that, I'm pretty sure I've recorded myself going through and showing how to do this. And so I've got that recording somewhere. If someone nudges me, I will post that recording. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. I just have to find it. Or Evernote, or the calendar thing. Any of these things. Reach out. Don't hesitate to get back in touch with us. But you guys are remarkable. I'm very proud of you. When we ran 6 Weeks to Success this summer, we started with the same number of people, and 1 person finished the program at the end of 6 weeks. So yay for Crystal during summer months, which are very, very different. But look at you. Look around. These are the folks who you are going to be walking across the stage with at National Conference promoting. These are the ones who you're going to be seeing each other's names in the top lists of the top achievers, the Excellence Awards achievers, the trip earners. Look around, partner with each other. There's power in numbers, and you are the creme de la creme. You guys are remarkable. I want to give you all the kudos in the world. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to turn off the recording, but watch our page. We'll kind of continue to kind of debrief and talk about all that we learned. And let's rock it. We're in for a great season. You guys all ready?
Yes.
Marvelous.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a fabulous evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.